Hello, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Levi from Dynamic. We are a business that helps accountancy and financial firms work smarter, not harder. We leverage AI to automate processes, streamline workflows, and enhance client communication. This is the podcast, The Balance, and today I'm with a very special guest. Sebastian, thank you so much for your time. Thank you for being here. Could you quickly introduce yourself and tell us a little bit more about who you are and what you do?
Yeah, absolutely. So, my name is Sebastian Sanchez. I am the founder and CEO of Cardinal Accounting. We are a bookkeeping focused accounting firm that specializes in helping small to medium sized service based businesses really understand their finances so that they can know where they're going by understanding where they are financially.
Nice, nice. And could you tell us a little bit more about how that started or how did you came up with the idea to
Yeah,
start this?
absolutely. So, I have a pretty long background in entrepreneuring, I guess is how you would say it. So, I actually started back in about 2015. I started a garage door company with my buddy Alex and a few other friends. And what I noticed immediately was it was very easy to get the work. It was really easy to get the work, but it was really difficult when I knew how much can I spend on marketing? Can we hire another technician? Can we get an office space? And I was very fortunate to have one of our business partners as a CPA do our bookkeeping. And I didn't really understand the value behind it until he started saying, yes, it's in the budget. We have the revenue to support a little increase in marketing. We can actually bring on a new technician because we have the revenue to support it. We have money set aside to repair our vehicles. And so we're not going to get stuck with a big bill that we're surprised with. And it was really easy for us to scale up with, proper persistence, marketing, and then doing a good job. But at the core, at the foundation, I really did take for granted how important, accounting was. And so we grew that business for a while and sold it. And I had the bright idea of saying, okay, well, we sold this business. Why don't we get into another industry? Why don't we get into fencing? So this was right before the pandemic, which actually really helped our business. We started a local fencing company and we just did the exact same model. We did the same thing, same marketing, same sales tactic, and most importantly, the same type of accounting. And it was, again, very simple for us to scale up because we were able to work in the business and work on the business when looking at our books. When we did our weekly profit and loss review, when we did our monthly profit and loss review, where we did our quarterly forecasting and planning, we were able to see our growth and able to see like we are actually supporting enough to grow further, or oh no, we need to scale back a little bit because we're in the slow season. And so when we grew up Luna Fence and Landscape, which was our fencing business, we grew that one to about 4 million in revenue and we were like, okay, let's sell it. Let's get out of here. Let's do it again. Let's sell it. And the sales process was so simple because we had all of our books ready. We had all of our financial statements ready. We had all of the tax returns. We had all of the fiscal documents prepared to be able to sell our business. And so this is where it comes into Cardinal Accounting. When we sold our business, we sold it to another local contractor. And that contractor asked me to come on as an operations manager for about 6 months to help facilitate the transition of my assets to his. And something I noticed is that he did not have proper bookkeeping. He did not have an accountant. He used a third party accountant that really didn't know what they were doing, weren't furnishing income statements consistently. They were 4 to 5 months behind, and he was flying by the seat of his pants. He was doing bank balance accounting, is what I call it. When you just look at your bank balance every morning and say, okay, I've got money, I can keep going. That was the moment that I realized, okay, there is something fundamentally important in accounting, specifically bookkeeping with these type of businesses, where if they don't have it, they're flying almost blind. And so that's when I got with my buddy Alex, and I was like, Alex, the gentleman that purchased our business does not have a bookkeeper. Some of the other local business owners that I've talked to also don't have bookkeepers. I think there's a space that we can fill where we can provide value to these service-based businesses and help them with their finances. And Alex was like, who's my business partner, he was like, you're crazy. Let's do it. And so we launched Cardinal Accounting and we've been helping these service-based businesses ever since. And it's been such a blessing. I've seen so many business owners come to us say, I recognize when I have my busy season now and I know how to staff appropriately. Thank you so much. We also help our local government. We're part of the Chamber of Commerce. We do the bookkeeping for them and the city right north of us. We do their bookkeeping. So it's been a journey, and I've loved every minute of it. It's been fantastic to help serve the community and our clients.
Really cool. And one thing that makes me curious, because you were in a completely different industry, how did you, obviously you worked with a good accountant and a good bookkeeper, as you said, but how did you learn the craft yourself? Did you like study for it, or did you just like start it basically?
I just started it basically. I'll be completely honest with you. We just started the business. So my business partner has been a CPA for over 10 years. And all of the businesses that I had opened in the past, I was the main marketer, sales representative, and operations manager. So I handled all of the operation side, he handled all the book side. So when we decided to start Cardinal Accounting, he was like, "Okay, Sebastian, you're going to need to learn the basics of bookkeeping. You're going to need to know the basics of accounting, because if you're going to go out and try to sell to these companies, you're going to have to be able to get into their QuickBooks, get into Zero. You're going to have to get into their operations and actually see where they are, because you're the one that's going to be building the price book, giving them the proposals, filling out the contracts. So you need to have a level of understanding with bookkeeping and accounting yourself to be able to better serve our clients, since you're our first line of defense when it comes to what the clients see."
I understand. And how did you, after selling your fencing company, you had that idea together with Alex to start Cardinal Accounting. How did you get your first client? How did that go?
So I am a huge believer in guerrilla marketing. Guerrilla marketing is a term a lot of gurus use, where it's, if you don't have a lot of money, you have to do lean guerrilla marketing, which is where you go and you are loud and you are local. You go to your local chamber of commerce. You go to your local businesses. You get a bunch of business cards. You wear shirts with the logo on it. You go out to local businesses and you ask them, "Hey, what's your current bookkeeping solution?" You go do speeches at your chamber of commerce, E&I networking groups, join local networking groups, and just get yourself out there. I'll tell you, when we first started, I was out every day from 7 in the morning getting coffee at a local networking event, being a visitor at a B&I group, then going to a chamber event after hours. I wasn't back home until maybe 8 o'clock. And the way I got my first client was actually I was giving a speech at a local B&I as a visitor, and I was discussing the importance of bookkeeping in a small business, the importance of being able to know how much to market. Can you afford repairs on vehicles? Can you hire new people? And one of the visitors, or one of the people in the BNI group, was so moved by my speech, they came up and said, "I need you. Please help us." And that was our first client. And she's still one of our clients today, and she's fantastic.
Really cool. Really cool. Like, when was that? What, like, 'cause we're in May 2025 right now. When was that when you started Cardinal Accounting? Like, how long are you already doing this for now?
Yeah, so we soft launched Cardinal Accounting last August. That's when we started brewing the idea, started kind of developing the idea. And then we took the remaining months of 2024 and we said, "Okay, we're going to build the systems," because I'm a huge systems guy. We're going to build the sales process. I'm going to learn bookkeeping. We're going to learn how we're going to market. How are we branding ourselves? Really building in the back end. And then we hard launched in January. That's when we became official Cardinal Accounting, licensed and insured bookkeeping accounting firm. And then we received our first client end of February. That's when I gave my speech. So it took roughly, I mean, what is that? August, September, November, December, January, February. Almost 6 months, a little over 6 months to get our first client. But after that, it just started coming in and coming in because we had the right systems in place. Cheryl, who was our first client, she recommended us to a ton of people locally, and it's been growing.
Yeah, that is like a snowball effect. All right. Really cool. Really cool. And what are like your firm's core values and how do they show up in your day to day?
So our core value is integrity, security, and honesty. So something that we do with integrity is we will not sugarcoat anything to the client. That is the first and foremost. And it kind of goes along with honesty. We will tell the client exactly what is going on with their books, how much it requires, and we are very detailed with how we price anything or how we communicate with the client. There's no sugarcoating, because we believe that we want to be treated the same way that I was treated when I was in my business with my partner. Alex would not sugarcoat anything, and he would be very open and honest with me, right? And then another, so with honesty, we want to be 100% clear with our client, with scope of work, what we will and will not do. And when we say we're going to do something, we'll do it. So integrity and honesty kind of play hand in hand here. And then for me, the most important is security. So as a third party bookkeeper, we're going to have a lot of access to documents. So we make it very clear with our clients that when you are onboarded, we need accountant only access to QuickBooks Online so that we see, their transactions coming in. And then when we're reconciling those transactions against their bank statements, we never ask for online access as an administrator. We are very serious about security. Everything needs to be uploaded to client the portal, which we have security measures in. And then everything needs to be view only access because we believe that security is the most important with any small business, because if there's a breach, it can totally wipe their business. So we take security to heart. And something that's really important with the security as well is I've already encountered two situations. Remember, we hard launched in January, soft launched last August. I've already encountered two situations where bookkeepers have committed fraud. So security is one of the just pillars of our company.
Because what were those situations where bookkeepers committed fraud? Could you elaborate on that a little bit?
Yeah.
What did you
So
see or find?
so a lot of business owners will understand that they need a bookkeeper, right? So they'll go to local events, they'll meet people, they'll say, "Oh, hey, my uncle so and so can do bookkeeping." And when they go in to reconcile transactions, they'll go, "Hey, I know that this financial institution doesn't really allow view only access. So how about you just give me your username and password? I'll log in as you, just look at your statements, and then I'll reconcile from that." Sure enough, a lot of the times they'll open up another credit card or they'll do a cash advance and pull out cash and then record it separately and say, "Oh, that cash was linked to a job or something," and they will steal from the companies. So we try to avoid all of that at all costs.
Okay. So with your business with Cardinal Accounting, you had the real official launch the beginning of this year. So it's quite a fresh and a new business. What are your main goals and what are the things that you're really working towards with this business?
So year one, and this is something for most businesses, I'll say, this is a good piece of advice. Year one should be all about establishing your systems and perfecting your systems. So clients will come. Accounting is an industry that will always be needed no matter what happens with innovation and technology. Accountants will always be needed. That being said, if you don't have proper systems in place, then your business will start being swallowed by it because you'll start getting more and more and more clients. There'll start being more and more issues that you're not prepared for or have systems for. And then it'll just end up being a dumpster fire of problems, fires every day, issues with reconciliation, deliverables not being met on time. So for year one, our priority is to make sure that all of the systems that we put in place from August to January are being fleshed out, perfected. Like I'll tell you right now, something that we've had some issues with is onboarding. Onboarding with the view only access or getting all of the accounts from our client because they'll say, "Oh, we only have 2 bank accounts." And then we'll get in there and we'll see 5 or 6. So really streamlining our systems. And then lastly, our second goal. So first is streamlining systems and perfecting them. Our second goal is actually to get 30 clients. That's our goal. That's our big goal,
Nice.
and
Yeah.
we're meeting it. We're a little bit more than halfway there, so
All
we're
right.
rocking and rolling.
All right. Cool. So first you want to have like the full infrastructure, all the systems just smooth and perfectly in check. And then the other goal for this year is 30 clients, right?
Correct, and I have
Perfect.
to emphasize the systems piece because I can't tell you how many CPA firms. My friend Alex, he's been a CPA for 10 years, and all of the firms he's worked with don't have systems, don't have operational procedures. And what we've learned when we had our businesses, the only way they ran very smoothly is you have to be able to simplify everything down to its core and have a systemized checklist for any and every little issue you find. That way, if there's any questions, people can reference that and say, "Okay, this has been an issue before. This is how you solve it." And then live in that 80-20, right? You want to have 80% of your systems documented, and then 20% is the skill, where the skill and knowledge comes in.
100%. I agree. And for the long term, then, let's say this year everything runs smooth, the systems are perfectly optimized, everything is as you want, and you hit the 30 clients. Where do you want to be with Cardinal Accounting in, let's say, 5 or 10 years from now?
That's so funny that you asked that. So, one of the biggest things that we do at Cardinal when we were soft launching our business, and every business that I speak with on a consulting basis, every business should have an organization chart and almost like a dream chart. Where do you want to be? And for Cardinal Accounting, our 5 to 10 year plan, we have a full spreadsheet. I'll be able to share it with you after this if you'd like. It's a full spreadsheet that shows CEO, founder, president, a CFO, staff accountants, bookkeepers, managers, receptionists, marketing, and we have a full infrastructure. So our goal is to reach around 4 million in revenue a year. That's our 5 to 10 year goal. Plus with the established infrastructure to maintain value, right? And then after that, we're going to hire sales representatives, or our 5 to 10 year goal. We'll have sales representatives that will help find clients that need our help, give them a solution, or give them tips. So we provide a pamphlet to a lot of potential clients, showing them just tips and tricks of what they can do themselves, so that even if they can't hire us, it doesn't mean they're on an island. We still want to provide some sort of value. And then I want to go on the road and I want to be able to do more speeches, more speaking engagements, and really help people understand the value of bookkeeping and accounting. Such a simple thing, yet it is, to me, truly the foundation of any good business.
100%. I totally agree. And it's a really cool vision that you want to eventually, you just focus on bringing that value yourself with speeching, but also with the sales representative, like the people, like the sales reps that you want to work with in the future. Instead of that, you want them to be cold calling and trying to sell your service. You want them to give value because you know the clients will come if you just give value. Yeah,
If you give and you give, you cannot give enough free information, because if you give and you give, people will see the value and then they will come,
yeah, I
because they
totally
know they
agree.
can't do it on their own. Or for me, the mindset I have is it's not that they can't do it on their own. It's that if they spend 5 to 6 hours a week doing bookkeeping themselves, that's 5 to 6 hours that they could be spending on another job, generating 2 to 3 times more revenue than just doing their own bookkeeping and paying us.
Yeah. Yeah, I totally agree. Especially also like in this day and age, the old school way of reaching out to a client and asking him, hey, come work with me. It doesn't work like that anymore. You have to be different. You have to bring value because there is so much going on right now on social media, so much people reaching out. Everybody wants to make money and get clients. And I think that approach from just giving as much value as you can and not being needy for any new clients is really the perfect way. So that's nice. I think it will be a big business. Hopefully, you will reach the 4 million a year within the 5 years time.
Excited. We're on.
Perfect. That's amazing. All right. And with those goals, and obviously it being a new business, there must also be some challenges. What are the things that you were really like? What are the challenges or the obstacles that you're facing at the moment?
So I mentioned it a little bit earlier. The biggest challenge that we're having right now is the onboarding process. So a lot of our clients are contractors. A lot of them are brilliant people in their trade, but they may not be as technically savvy. And that's not a knock on them, because I'll tell you, half of them can outwork me in the field. But I mean, behind a computer, I know what I'm doing. And so do our bookkeepers. So getting a client fully onboarded, getting them to grant us view-only access to their accounts, getting us linked to QuickBooks, and providing us with all of the documents that we need to provide any cleanup service, that has been a little bit of a challenge for us recently. It's just the onboarding process. Sales and initial consultation has gone super smooth. And actual operations, we have an operational project management checklist that I created, and that's been going super smooth for us. So really, it's just that turbulent moment of signing the contract to getting the deliverable. That onboarding process has been a little bit of a challenge for us recently.
All right. And are there certain things that you are testing or certain things that you're trying out to smoothen that process?
Absolutely. So during the sales cycle now, after an initial consultation, what we have created is a project roadmap. So this is something that we're implementing now with actually 3 potential clients that we're working with right now. It's a little pamphlet that they receive. It's got all of the steps that we use in onboarding, making sure that all of your accounts are linked to QuickBooks, making sure you give us accountant access to QuickBooks, making sure that we have view-only access to your bank accounts, making sure all of the bank accounts are there. If you don't have access to view, or if you don't have the capability of giving your accountant view-only access, we ask that you are able to download your statements as a CSV file for Excel so that we can upload it into our system. All of these in a checklist format and in a roadmap format that we give to the client right between the initial consultation and contract signage so that we can get a little bit ahead of it, about a week to a week and a half ahead of the process so that their office manager or them themselves can really dive in and go, oh, okay, these are some of the things I need to do. Maybe I can go ahead and start doing some of these things if I'm really wanting to work with them. And the roadmap has some pictures. It has YouTube video links to different types of banks like Wells Fargo, Chase, Avadian, and those videos show how to grant access to view only. And so we just implemented that a couple of weeks ago, and we've already had a couple of clients say that it's been very helpful. So we're hoping that we can see a little bit more of a smooth transition during onboarding. So that's how we're trying to solve that problem now.
Sounds good. Sounds good. Nice. And this is also a direction that I want to go in with everybody, all the guests on the podcast. We've already talked about this a little bit prior to the podcast. I'm curious about your vision on the future of accounting and the future of bookkeeping. And especially what I mean is with the insane growth of social media, the insane growth of AI, obviously. Are those things that you are looking into or maybe implementing yourself? And what's your vision on that?
Absolutely. So I think that AI is going to play a very crucial role in accounting. I think it's going to streamline processes so significantly. I'll give you an example in my current business. We use an application called Dext. It's a receipt management tool. You can take pictures of your receipt and then AI will go in, separate all of the transactions, separate sales tax, separate everything, and transfer it over into an Excel format for our bookkeeper. So all he has to do is have the client upload the receipts, and then all of that receipt information throughout the month will be automatically just deciphered and visualized onto Excel properly. So that saves him. I mean, he told me with one of our clients who has over 300 transactions a month, he said that Dex has saved him, I think, around 45 minutes a week, where he's just pilfering through receipts. And he said it's a game changer. He goes in there once a month and just reviews and makes sure that Dex picked everything up. But at the end of the day, AI will streamline processes. AI will not replace accountants. I truly don't believe that because at the end of the day, accounting goes deeper than just numbers. And AI will help with accountants being able to streamline time, save clients money, because if we're able to save 45 minutes on a client every single month, well, that's 45 minutes that we can reduce our price by the following year, the following contract term, so that we can retain that client and also be able to save time to help another client. So yeah, I think AI will help. I don't think it will ever replace. I think it will allow accountants and knowledgeable bookkeepers on how to streamline processes, use tools to help them advance and increase their client load while also keeping prices low and also being able to provide even more value. So I think that is how AI is going to impact. I think to answer your question on social media, I think social media ads now are starting to become more, we're going in a trend of entertainment. I think that a lot of the newer generation, the younger generation, is starting to view more ads and learning in an entertaining way. So I think that if you can build social media ads or social media engagement through entertainment and education, because I think people like that, people like education, but in an entertaining format. I think a lot of businesses, a lot of accounting firms, us included, we're actually releasing a video soon, will see a benefit in being able to provide educational videos on bookkeeping, but also providing them in an engaging and entertaining format.
And to get back to the AI thing, sometimes I speak with accountants or bookkeepers and they're a little bit worried about, hey, AI is coming to get our jobs. And I like to speak with someone like you or people that are very like pro AI and pro the future, because I think it's a really nice thing that these things are growing so much, because then the accountants can go back to what they're actually good at and what they've actually studied for, which is really strategizing, advising, helping the people, giving that personalized touch, that personalized advice instead of answering emails like a robot and checking invoices and do all the things that a computer or an AI could do. So I think, just like you say, I think an accountant or a bookkeeper, maybe bookkeeper a bit more, but I think an accountant is never replaceable by AI. I think AI will make their job much more fun, much more efficient, and AI will also make it much more affordable for clients since accountants don't have to waste their time anymore.
Absolutely. And if it comes down to it, where our bookkeeping firm does become automated to a point where all of the bookkeeping processes after onboarding are fully automated, well, then that's when we would shift our model more into that CFO, fractional CFO role, where we would be advising based on the numbers generated by the AI and the bookkeeping income statements. So, like you said, an accountant's role will never go away because some of that information is intuition. Some of that information is knowledge that you have to learn, and that AI will never really be able to implement that. It can get close, but sometimes a gut feeling while looking at books and looking at the external climate, especially local, it makes a difference.
Completely agree. All right. Sebastian, if for the people at home listening, let's say other entrepreneurs or accountants or bookkeepers are listening, what would be one piece of advice that you would give them if they are looking to grow or looking to innovate or looking to reach their goals or like their next level? What is one piece of advice that you would give?
Oh man, just one piece? Okay. Well, I'll give them just one. I have multiple pieces of advice, but I will say in the bookkeeping space, specifically in, well, entrepreneur. Let me think about that for just a moment. I'm going to say one for entrepreneurs because I've been a big entrepreneur. So I'll leave bookkeeping. It still persists into bookkeeping and other industries, but a general entrepreneurial saying or just motto that I've lived by. Persistence will always beat out talent. Persistence will always beat out talent. Never give up, never stop trying. Because even if somebody is more talented than you, if they're resting and you're working, then you're gaining an advantage. People who give up during the hard times fail every time. People who persist through the hard times will find the good times. There were moments in all of my businesses that things looked bleak, but I had to look at my team and say, we're not giving up. We're going to head forward. We're going to keep moving in the right direction with good leadership, and we're going to make it out. And every single time we've seen growth. Persistence is key. So that's my advice for them.
Advice. It's a marathon and it's not a sprint.
That's so right. That's so right.
Yeah. Sebastian, if people want to learn more from you or maybe want to work with you or get more advice simply, where can they find you?
Oh, they can find me on LinkedIn. I've got Facebook. I've got Instagram. I mean, you can find me. We have an intake form on our website. If you just want to send me an email, that's info@cardinalaccounting.com, ACCTG abbreviated. You can find me anywhere. I'd love having conversations. I always say I give 1 free hour for the price of a coffee.
Perfect. Great. I'll make sure to put all the links to your social media, links to the website in the description of the podcast as well. Is there any last word? Maybe one more piece of advice or any last
One
things you
more
would want
piece
to
of
share?
okay, one
I
piece of
thought it's
advice.
such a good advice.
So one piece of advice specifically for bookkeeping, something that I've found in almost a year doing this specific industry. Don't price yourself out and don't price yourself under. A lot of bookkeepers that I've seen and worked with and talked to with that have clients when I was doing my research, all of them were underpricing themselves. They believe that if they don't charge a certain amount, they'll lose a client. I'll tell you right now, we charge for every minute of work that we do, and we charge a fair rate so that our bookkeepers are making the money they deserve. And I'll tell you, those when you price low, that's how you get the difficult clients that they expect more for less. We have clients that partner with us because they understand our value. They pay what we are worth. So a lot of bookkeepers I see within the $100 to $300 a month range, Those are the ones that I see with maybe 40, 50 clients, but they are struggling. And then I've talked to bookkeepers that charge $500 to $700 a month with firm processes and good deliverables and accuracy. And they have very good clients that they partner with. So don't underprice yourself if you are good at what you do, because you will only ever create more headache for yourself. That's my bookkeeper's advice.
Listener has got two very valuable pieces of advice out of this podcast. Sebastian, I really want to thank you a lot. Thank you for being on the podcast. It was really perfect. So yeah, thanks for that. Any last words maybe?
No, Levi, thank you so much. I think you're doing a great thing here. I think that getting the word out and putting information out there in the form of a podcast, I think is brilliant for you and your business and your viewers to just gain more and more value. I think that's incredible. So thank you so much for having me.
Perfect. Thank you for your kind words. For the people at home, thank you so much for listening. My name is Levi, and this was The Balance.